You know, when you're dealing with a children's choir, it can be very fun, but it can also be very frustrating. Big shout out to my man Rockefeller. Um, Great email, man. You know, I'm a minister of music also. And I always like to deal with kids. Y'all know me by now. I love kids, man. I deal with a lot of them every week, all week, pretty much. And you know, a lot of people blame things on the kids in a lot of ways, but a lot of times you got to look at what the parents are not doing, and you got a lot of parents making their kids join the choir. And when you force a kid to do something, you know their attitude not gonna be right. So now in the choir stand, you'll have some that want to be up there and some that don't want to be up there because their parents are making them do something they really don't want to do. So that comes a problem when you are in church. And I hear preachers all the time, oh, we need to get the children in here, the kids this, the kids that. Well, who bring the kids to church? The parents. And if you can't get the parents to stay in there, you ain't got a chance at getting the kids to stay in there. And now church is it's so many rules now to come to church. You can't do this, you can't do that. And a lot of churches are pretty much blocking out most things that the kids want to do. Because once again, they so religious. I know too many churches, they don't even want to let their children mom dance. And that's what most people are doing. Most children are doing in church now because that's pretty much the only way they know how to praise God. Because there's so many folks walking around here, they older than the kids, and they think that's the only way they supposed to praise God. When these kids are younger, they don't know what you know. So you got to let them express the way they praise God, the way they praise God. And you got to quit trying to, be so holy and die, excuse that phone, and let them do what they do. So like in my church, man, I deal with a youth choir, and a lot of nights we have some rough nights, and I know that I get on their nerves just as well as they get on my nerves, but it's all out of love because some of them coming from school, they got attitudes, they tired, they don't want to go to church. Because I can remember when I was their age, how many times I didn't want to go to church. So I keep that in mind also when I'm dealing with a youth choir because yes, it can come very frustrating. But real talk, sometimes the children's choir act better than some of these grown folks choirs because you got grown folks that don't come to rehearsal right. They bringing attitudes. They dealing with things, husbands and wives into it with each other. So many other different issues that can cause a rehearsal to fall down. So what I do, brother, I try to make the rehearsal fun. I don't make it boring. You have to relate with those children. And I know a lot of people be ready to give up on the kids choir, man, but you can't give up. You got to keep pushing. You can't be so strict, so tough on them that you taking away from what they supposed to be doing. You got to know how to balance it out. Let them know it's about God, and at the same time, show them the way. Because I'm gonna tell you something, yelling loud at somebody don't do nothing to them. And Grace True Teacher, if you're looking at this video, yeah, I screamed in that video on purpose because I was wondering who was gonna say something about that when I told them to get somewhere and sit down. But man, I love them kids, man. Every time I see them, they lift up my spirit. And sometimes I stay at church all day just to spend time with those children because I know a lot of children don't have nobody to spend time with. No father figure anyway, no big brother, no uncle. Some of them don't have nothing at all. And just spending 5 minutes, 10, 15 minutes with them lights up their day. And that's the same mentality I have when I go to rehearsal. Time I walk in the door, I ask them how they doing. I try to keep them laughing. And we serious at the same time. We get in there and we mean business and then we get out. But every rehearsal don't go smooth like that. So just remember how you was when you was a kid. And we have to really understand them. See, there's so many people blocking their kids off because they don't have time for them. That they really be wanting to express a lot of things to their parents, but they don't feel comfortable. And I have a lot of kids come up to me, man, not just at church, but come up to me all the time because I see them more than they daddy would ever see them. And the things that they express, the things they want to talk about, you can tell how they hurting on the inside. So even if you ain't a daddy, be a big brother to somebody. You see that youngster that need help, that girl or that or that young man, don't kick them to the curb. So when you bring all of that, to the church and you get through rehearsal, man, it's a beautiful thing. Because I always mess with my youth. I say, y'all can go outside or ride in the car at school. Y'all can quote, sing, dance every new step that come out, every new Beyonce song that come out, whatever come out. Chris Brown, they on top of it. So I challenge them and say, do church music the same way. Let me see how many of y'all gonna come back and know this song. How many of y'all gonna learn this song? When y'all come back, I expect y'all to know it from the front to the back. That way, when we get in rehearsal, we just run through it. So you got to break yourself down on that level and relate with those children. And not just in the choir rehearsal, dealing with children, period, man. Because they are a blessing. It don't matter how they got here. They are a blessing. Children are not a mistake. I don't care who don't agree with that because they are not a mistake. They are a blessing. As a matter of fact, they didn't even ask to be here. None of us didn't ask to be here, but we here and we need to deal with it. And if somebody else can love somebody else's child, to God be the glory, because I'm glad God didn't look at us. God didn't turn his back on us like God was just a baby daddy, because we are all God's children. I'm glad he saw fit and looked at me and said, I care about that boy. I love that boy. That's my son. Now I'm not his begotten son. I'm not his unique son, but I am a son of the Most High. Still, hearts. Big shout out to you. So with that being said, love everybody. Peace. And don't let nobody steal your joy. Take care.